Frank and Sylvia's work is an excellent example of art as political commentary. And we're really excited about it because art that speaks to political and social issues is nice in that it doesn't have to be art that's pretty, because it speaks to these issues that impact all of us in our lives. And just from personal experience, when do I hear about someone else's political opinion, right? It's usually a loud person who corners me at a party or some campaigner outside my front door. And the reason I love political art is that I can go into a gallery, I can encounter someone else's political opinion, and I can do that at my own pace and sort of on my own terms. So I think it's a real treat. And I want to thank all my volunteers for helping me. I've had so much help in hanging the show and doing all the promotion, and they've been invaluable. And I also want to say, if you're interested in volunteering at the MAG, I have a sign-up sheet over there. It's lots of fun. And also, as it was with the last show, I'm selling memberships to the gallery. There's lots of perks to being a member. You get discounts to events that charge admission, and it's a great way to support your local arts community. So let me know if you're interested in that too. And I wanted to turn the floor over to Sylvia and Frank so they could speak to their own artwork. So thank you everyone for coming. And I'll let Sylvia and Frank talk.
Well, I don't really know how much you want to know beyond what you may already have read, but Ozymandias, or Ozymandias, however you want to call it, is that wonderful poem by Shelley that talks about male hubris and what happens to that fame as it fades away after all of their atrocities. So I became interested in the Arab Spring last year, 2 years ago, and began to connect that with the poem as it unfolded across Egypt and Libya and so on. And I Googled 20th century genocidal dictators, and up came 42 names. So it was kind of overwhelming. I decided the people I was going to paint had to have been alive during my lifetime, alive in my consciousness, and then it, of course, spilled into this new century as well. And I wanted to be geographically fair, because these monsters occur globally, and so there are representatives from all the continents. And I'd be happy if you want more information, just ask me. I think that's all I need to say about them right now. Frank.
I don't know what to say, but when somebody in Metchosin asked me to say something, it would go completely against my reputation if I said, well, I have nothing to say. So pull up a comfortable chair and we'll get on with it. When it became quite clear that Bush and Blair and Cheney and all those people were going to use the 9/11 as a pretext to invade Iraq, I did all the usual things. You know, I attended all the demonstrations, including participating in that biggest demonstration that was ever held before the war. Wrote my letters and so on, and that didn't really get rid of all the angst. And so I started taking out some of my bile, whatever, and just doing these little paintings. And then they sort of accumulated in the corner of the studio. As you can see, they're not very large. And I have a studio where I can put up with thumbtacks, and I started thumbtacking them to the wall just to keep them out of the way, and then arrange them into the shape of a swastika, because Bush had talked about the axis of evil. And we all know where the word axis came from. Only, interestingly enough, we don't all know where the word axis came from, because some people don't really understand that the axis was Germany, Japan, and Italy. And they really didn't know that. So there's a generational thing here. Anyway, so I stuck them on the wall, and then I had holes in the evil people, and so I had to put in victims in there, and then I kept on doing it, and so we end up. And then the other perpetrator of this is really Adam Noonan, who escaped before this started, who got a gallery downtown to look at the stuff in my basement, and they just happened to see this little pile of things there and said, "Ooh, you have to show that." Well, it didn't go into that show, because they wanted to sell these pieces individually. And these aren't individual pieces. It's really, I feel, it's sort of a response to what was happening, and these guys are all related to this horrible business that we human beings do. And some are perpetrators, some are eggers on from the side, some are victims, some are partly one or the other, like Condoleezza Rice or Colin Powell. I mean, where do they fit in? Okay. They set up Colin Powell to lie to the UN to put the whole thing forward because he was one of the few respectable faces they had in their administration. You know, it's a very mixed set of things. So anyway, I'm sorry to subject you to this, but if you ask me to talk. So these are not individual aesthetic pieces whatsoever. And then the other perpetrator of the show is Sylvia. When she saw the axis of the stinking fish, she said, oh, we must have a show together. And of course, I love Sylvia's stuff. And she's really sort of Victoria's answer to abstract expressionism. And to see her do this sort of figurative stuff as well as, I mean, it's just superb. So I had to go in with Sylvia. I'll try to shut up.
Thank you